So Donald Trump confirmed that the Trump administration is officially going after Obama with a criminal referral to the Department of Justice, demanding an investigation and prosecution of Barack Obama himself. According to Trump, ex-president allegedly laced the groundwork for years of targeted manipulation. This isn't just political theater anymore. This is a historical moment after Trump made it official for the push for criminal prosecution. According to Trump, they have everything: documents, facts, names, and everything about how Obama falsely targeted Trump with the Russia hoax. And finally, Trump came out and showed what he has exactly on Obama and why he said that Obama betrayed his country. Now, there are some mind-boggling revelations, so we're going to explain everything. At a packed White House briefing, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, did not hold back and made historical allegations against the ex-president, accusing the Obama administration of manufacturing a contrived narrative about Russian election interference. According to Gabbard, it was a coordinated effort that was tied to the 2016 elections. There is irrefutable evidence, she said, that shows that President Obama and his national security team orchestrated an intelligence report that they knew was not true. According to Gabbard, the entire assessment was designed to sell the American public on the idea that Russia meddled in 2016 to help Donald Trump win, despite officials allegedly knowing that it wasn't backed by solid evidence. And these newly released documents by Gabbard have a lot of information. They have various names, including Barack Obama, with other security officials like James Clapper, John Brennan, and others, which according to the White House were in this inner circle. Gabbard pointed to these newly unsealed records as proof that high-level officials deliberately politicized intelligence. Perhaps most damaging is the assertion that U.S. agencies never had direct confirmation that Vladimir Putin was actively trying to boost Trump's chances, challenging the basis of one of the most controversial stories in recent American history. Now, following direct orders from Trump himself, Tulsi Gabbard has filed a formal criminal referral to the DOJ, citing explosive evidence uncovered during the latest intelligence review. She demanded that they deliver the accountability that President Donald Trump, his family, and the American people deserve. Now, the Justice Department has yet to name specific individuals that are under investigation, but behind the scenes, the targets are becoming clear. When pressed for names, Trump pointed straight to the top. President Obama. He started it, he declared. Gabbard didn't mince words, saying that the evidence points to manipulation of intelligence by the Obama administration intended to delegitimize President Trump even before he was inaugurated, ultimately usurping the will of the American people, Gabbard stated. She also confirmed that the declassified records have already been turned over to law enforcement. We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this for the evidence, Gabbard stated. She doubled down, claiming, "Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact." President Donald Trump did not hold back either. He accused the former president of being the ringleader behind the investigations into alleged collusion between Trump's 2016 campaign and Russia. But Obama's camp quickly fired back. A spokesperson dismissed the accusation as bizarre and pointed to the fact that none of the newly released documents changed the conclusions of prior intelligence reviews, especially the 2020 Senate Intelligence Committee report led by now Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense with misinformation flowing out of this White House with a response, said Obama spokesman Patrick Rodenbush. But these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. He did not stop there. Rodenbush then doubled down. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction, he said. Nothing in the document, issued last week, undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. It is interesting to point out that Elon Musk has repeatedly highlighted how Democrats weaponize the so-called Russian collusion narrative to manipulate public opinion, and he has openly said that he has warned about this years ago. According to Musk, political insiders and independent journalists had been telling him for a long time that the Russian hoax was a strategic lie used to discredit Trump and shift media focus. Yet most of the mainstream platforms, including Twitter before he took over, actively suppressed those voices. For example, Musk mocked renewed claims of Russian influence in U.S. intelligence, responding to a sarcastic tweet from David Frum suggesting that Putin should be named Director of National Intelligence. Mike Benz chimed in, comparing the narrative to a washed-up band replaying the same tired tune. Musk agreed, dismissing it as another dumb Russia hoax and adding a sleeping emoji to emphasize his point that the story was both false and exhausted. Now, back to our main point. Trump doubled down Tuesday, calling former President Barack Obama the ringleader of the Trump-Russia investigation and demanding a full criminal probe into what he described as a manufactured intelligence campaign by Obama-era officials. The claim, according to Trump, is that top figures in Obama's administration deliberately built the so-called collusion narrative from the ground up. Obama, for his part, has rejected the accusation entirely, as his spokesperson called it bizarre. On Friday, Trump continued pressing the issue, referencing the recent Supreme Court immunity ruling. It probably helps him a lot, the immunity ruling, but it doesn't help the people around him at all. But it probably helps him a lot, Trump said. He's done criminal acts, there's no question about it, but he has immunity. He owes me big. Obama owes me big. They did things that nobody's ever imagined, even in other countries. You've seen some pretty rough countries, and we have all of the documents. Tulsi told me she has got thousands of additional documents coming. Then Trump added, so President Obama, it was his concept, his idea, but he also got it from crooked Hillary Clinton and her group, the Democrats. Now, meanwhile, a Fox News report this week cited the House Intelligence Committee's findings that U.S. intelligence agencies had no direct evidence Russian President Vladimir Putin wanted Trump to win in 2016. Instead, the report claims that under what they called the unusual direction of then-President Barack Obama, the agencies proceeded with potentially biased and even implausible intelligence assessments that suggested otherwise. The important point here is that the U.S. Department of Justice can investigate former presidents, yes, even someone like Obama, as long as there is a legitimate legal basis and evidence of crimes committed outside of their official duties. In fact, the DOJ has formed a dedicated strike force to examine the newly declassified documents that Gabbard turned over, specifically to assess whether the way intelligence was handled could warrant criminal charges. But this isn't a rubber stamp process. Before charges move forward, prosecutors need concrete evidence and have to navigate procedural rules, executive privilege, and possible pushback on scope. Now here is where it gets tricky. A landmark Supreme Court ruling in Trump versus the United States held that former presidents enjoy absolute immunity for core presidential acts, things like issuing pardons, commanding the military, or foreign affairs, and only presumptive immunity for other official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial conduct like personal dealings or non-official behavior. That means if any alleged wrongdoing falls under Obama's official authority, the DOJ could be blocked from prosecuting. But if it's tied to personal or pre-office actions and backed by proof, then legal accountability might still be on the table. And that is it for today.